Good evening and thanks for joining us as the world keeps a nervous eye on what Iran will do next. The U.S. killing of Iranian General Soleimani reverberating around the globe, with the Pope warning today war only brings death and destruction. As Abigail Bimman reports, thousands of Soleimani's countrymen turned out to publicly mourn today as Washington and Tehran fired off ominous threats.
Tens of thousands of mourners fill the streets as Qasem Soleimani's body returns to Iran. In Parliament, MPs chant death to America and warn of painful consequences. And the government says it will further pull back from the 2015 international nuclear deal, meaning Iran will not respect enrichment limits.
It's impossible to overstate the significance of the attack that takes out Qasem Soleimani and the #2 militia leader. This is bigger than bin Laden. It's bigger than Baghdadi.
General Soleimani, let's be very clear, he was a regional menace, and we understand the position that the Americans found themselves in.
Tensions high as the world waits for exactly what those painful consequences may be. Not likely to come until 3 days of mourning are over. Soleimani will be buried in his hometown on Tuesday.
Was Donald Trump
The UK's foreign minister is out urging calm.
I think, yes, we need to contain the nefarious actions of Iran. We also need to de-escalate and stabilize the situation.
While the U.S. president took a different tone, outlining on Twitter, if Iran retaliates, the U.S. will hit 52 Iranian sites, including those of cultural importance, very fast and very hard.
That in and itself would be a war crime.
International law expert Leah West says it's more likely to involve hyperbole than a real threat, given the strict rules.
First of all, you can't target non-military establishments or establishments that wouldn't have a direct military advantage. That's just illegal under the international law of armed conflict, and in particular, attacking cultural states.
It may be that there's a little noise here in the interim that the Iranians make the choice to respond. I hope that they don't. President Trump has made clear what we will do in response if they do, that our response will be decisive and vigorous, just as it has been so far.
Meanwhile, in Iraq, Parliament voted to expel all foreign troops aimed at the U.S., but Canadian troops are on the ground in Iraq, too.
This vote is largely symbolic. In actual fact, to expel or to require the government leadership to expel all American or international forces, that would require legislation.
When Global News asked what happens next for Canadians serving in Iraq in light of the vote, the Defence Minister's office reiterated its message from earlier this weekend. Canada is in close coordination with international partners, and the goal remains a united and stable Iraq. One of those international partners, NATO, has called an urgent meeting for Monday. Abigail Bimman, Global News, Ottawa.
There are reports tonight people of Iranian descent are being detained while trying to enter the U.S. Washington State Lieutenant Governor Cyrus Habib posted this online, saying his office is receiving reports Iranian-Americans are being held up at the Canada-Washington border. A local civil rights group says it is assisting more than 60 Iranians and Iranian-Americans who were detained at length while trying to use the Peace Arch border crossing. U.S. Customs and Border Protection says those reports are false, and that based on the current threat environment, they are operating with an enhanced posture at ports of entry.